Assalamu alaikum students, how are you all? I hope that all of you are in the best of your health. Okay ji, now we are going to start on another topic, that is the two-nation theory, origin, evaluation and explication. Firstly, again the same instructions. Please open the book in front of you. All of you should have the book in front of you. Open the page number 9 of your books and pen in your hand. The difficult words of this topic are written over here along with their meanings. First word is explication. What do we mean by explication? The explication is the process of analyzing and developing an idea or principle in detail. The second is embraced. Embraced means accept willingly, intermingle, mix, convinced, to make firm in one's belief, to make someone firm in certain belief. Assert. Assert means to take control of a position or power without having the right. To control something without having the right to control that thing. Epic means story, and the last word is discontent. Discontent means dissatisfied. After this, we are going to start the detail of the topic. Now we are moving towards the detail of this topic. As you all are familiar that we have to make the headings. So please again follow my instructions class. So please write down the heading of background on your first paragraph of this topic. I am going to read the first line of the paragraph on which you have to write the heading of the background, as it will be easy for you to recognize the paragraph. I am going to read the first line of the paragraph. Please look at your books. In the subcontinent, every individual who embraced Islam associated himself socially and politically to the Muslim society and state. Actually, in the subcontinent, when the Muslims embraced Islam, when the individuals embraced Islam, they associate themselves socially and politically to the new society, to the Muslim society and the state. And they break all their previous relationships. When they form a new social system, on the basis of this new social system, the Muslims of the India form a unique temperament or a separate temperament. And this unique and the separate temperament form the basis of two-nation theory. On the next paragraph, on the third last line of page number 9, the next paragraph, please write down the heading of meaning of two-nation theory. Again, I am reading the first line of the second paragraph on which you have to write the heading. Please look at your books. In the perspective of the subcontinent, two-nation theory means that two major nations, the Muslims and the Hindus, were settled there. On this paragraph, please write down the heading of meanings of two-nation theory. Actually, what is the two-nation theory? What do we mean by the two-nation theory? The word two-nation theory is actually, it means that actually there were living, the two separate nations were living in the subcontinent, Hindus and the Muslims. These two nations are entirely different from each other in their every aspect of life. Their religion, their culture, their way of dressing, their religious ideas, each and everything of Muslim is totally different from the Hindus. And despite living together for centuries, these two nations cannot intermingle with each other. On the basis of this idea, on the basis of this two-nation theory, Indian Muslims fought the war of the freedom. And this war was, and they fought the war of the freedom because on the basis of this two-nation theory. And we can say that this two-nation theory is actually the basis of the ideology of Pakistan. After this, please turn to your page number 10. On page number 10, please write down the heading of evaluation of two-nation theory. You have to write this heading on this second paragraph of this page. I am reading the lines from that heading. I am reading the lines. Please write down this heading on these two lines. So far, the evaluation of two-nation theory is concerned, we will evaluate some important personalities and their thoughts. These personalities belong to two different periods. After this, we are going to discuss one by one, we are going to discuss the different personalities and their viewpoint regarding the two-nation theory. The first personality we are going to discuss is Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. Please again same instructions. Please write down the heading of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan and two-nation theory. I am going to read the first line of the paragraph, so it will be easy for all of you to recognize the paragraph on which you have to write the heading of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan and two-nation theory. Please, all of you, look at on your books. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was the first person who used the term two-nation theory due to Hindi-Urdu controversy in Banaras in 1867. Actually, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was the first person who coined this term two-nation theory. And he used this term two-nation theory first time in Banaras when there was Hindu-Urdu controversy was going on in Banaras in 1867. And the first time Sir Syed Ahmad Khan used this word two-nation theory. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan convinced the government of the subcontinent that two different nations are settled in subcontinent. One is Hindus and the second one is of Muslims. He was of this point of view that the Muslims are separate nation in every aspect. He convinced the government that Muslims are a separate nation in every aspect of life. He was of this point of view that the Muslims are separate because of their civilization, their culture, their language, their customs, philosophy of life, epics, stories. Each and everything of Muslim is totally different from Hindus. And this theory infused a political spirit among the Muslims and provided them with such a great leadership that they started this freedom movement, and because of such a great leadership, this freedom movement ends up with the creation of Pakistan. The next personality we are going to discuss is of Allama Iqbal. You have to write the heading of Allama Iqbal and two-nation theory on your next paragraph. I am going to read the first line of your paragraph, so it will be easy for all of you to recognize the paragraph. Please look at your books. Dr. Allama Iqbal presented the idea of the separate state for the Muslims. Allama Iqbal presented the idea of the separate state for the Muslims in his very simple words. What he says that I don't think so that the Muslims would allow that their political, religious or the social rights are asserted by anyone. He thinks that Muslims would never allow that their rights are violated by anyone else. So for that purpose, he put a demand in front of the government of India, of the government of subcontinent. He was of this point of view that I think so that it's necessary that all the provinces like Punjab, Northwest Frontier Province, which is your present Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Sindh and Balochistan should be put together in a single state. Over here, we have to make one additional question as well. Please write down the question on this same paragraph. Your question is that how did Allama Iqbal presented the idea of separate state for Muslims? And its answer is this same paragraph. I am reading the paragraph from your book. Please mark the answer. Dr. Allama Iqbal presented the idea of a separate state for the Muslims. He said the Muslims would not allow that their religious, political and social rights are served. Therefore, I would like to see the Punjab, Northwest Frontier Province, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Sindh and Balochistan put together into a single state. Coming towards the next personality. Next personality is Chaudhry Rahmat Ali. Please write down the heading of Chaudhry Rahmat Ali and two-nation theory on the second last line of your page number 10. I am reading the line. In January 1933, during his stay at England, Chaudhry Rahmat Ali, along with some of his friends, published a pamphlet named Now or Never. Chaudhry Rahmat Ali published a pamphlet Now or Never in January 1933. In this pamphlet, first time, they proposed a name for a separate state, for the separate state of the Muslims, and that name is Pakistan. Chaudhry Rahmat Ali, like all previous personality, again he was of the same point of view that the Muslims are having the separate history and civilization. He was of this point of view that the Muslims are a nation that is different from the other nations, that all other nations that are living in subcontinent. And he says that as the Muslims are having the separate history and civilization, so Muslims' nationality is Pakistani, not Hindustani. And he was of this point of view that Muslims are a separate nation Muslims are totally separate from all other nations that are living in subcontinent. The last and the most important personality is Quaid-e-Azam. Please write down the heading of Quaid-e-Azam and two-nation theory on page number 11. I am reading the first line of the paragraph, so it will be easy for you to recognize the paragraph. Please look at your books. Quaid-e-Azam was a firm advocate of two-nation theory. On this paragraph, please write on the heading of Quaid-e-Azam and the two-nation theory. Quaid-e-Azam was a very firm advocate of two-nation theory. He gave Muslims the status of the separate nation in every respect. He was of this point of view that the Muslims are totally different from Hindus in every aspect of life, whether we are talking about religion, whether we talk about philosophy, whether we talk about culture, whether we talk about language, whether we talk about the way of living. In every aspect of life, he was of this point of view that the Muslims are totally different from Hindus. And he said that Muslims are a nation according to any definition of the nation, and the Muslims should have their separate homeland, their separate territory, and their separate state. Over here, he focused on the demand of this thing. Over here, he focused on the demand that Muslims should have their separate homeland, separate territory, and the separate state. Quaid-e-Azam Presidential Address 1940. This is a very important point over here. Quaid-e-Azam gave his presidential address on 23rd March 1940. In this presidential address, Quaid-e-Azam was of this point of view that the Muslims and Hindus are different in every aspect of life. That is, whether we talk about their religion, their culture, their philosophy, they are different from in every aspect of their life. Muslims and Hindus have different epics. Epics means stories. They have different stories. They have different episodes. They have different heroes. And Quaid-e-Azam was of this point of view that to tie together two such nations, as one nation is in minority. Which nation was in minority? Muslims were in minority in the subcontinent and the Hindus were in majority in the subcontinent. He was of this point of view that to tie together two such nations, as the one nation is minority, as the one nation is in minority and the other nation is in majority, will only lead to the dissatisfaction and discontent of the final fabric. And he appealed to the British government that it's a very better way that the British government announced the partition of the subcontinent. And he was of this point of view that it's a very important, or it's a right step religiously as well as historically to separate the two nations which are living in subcontinent. And which two nations? He was of this point of view that Hindus and Muslims should get separate now. After the completion of the topic, again we have to do the same thing. We have to mark our book exercise question. Please open the page number 18 of your books. On page number 18 of your book, there is a long question number 8. Question number 8 is explain two-nation theory. Again, I am repeating my instructions. Open the page number 18 of your book. On page number 18, there is a long question number 8. Question number 8 is explain two-nation theory, and its answer is from page number 9 to 11. It means that your full topic that we have discussed in this lecture, your full topic that starts from page number 9 and its end on page number 11. Before this is the answer of this question. Question number 8 answer is from page number 9 to page number 11. Thank you so much, students.